Today we're taking a look at a conversation, one aimed at helping you learn English. We're going to explore some really practical vocabulary and, how context is key.
That's right. And the scenario is something I think a lot of people can relate to. It's someone, Alex, asking their boss if they can get an assistant. A very typical workplace situation.
Exactly. So our mission, if you like, for this deep dive is to pull out those useful English phrases and really understand how they work in just everyday chat. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. So the conversation kicks off with Alex asking for that assistant. But the boss's first reaction, it's basically a no.
Right, a refusal. But why?
Well, the boss says they don't have the resources right now. And if you're learning English, resources here, it's often just a polite, maybe slightly more formal way of saying money.
Ah, okay, so no money in the budget for a new hire. Makes sense.
Exactly. The boss basically means the company can't afford it at the moment.
And then the boss also mentions they're understaffed. Right. That sounds a bit contradictory. If they're understaffed, surely they need more people.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Understaffed is a really useful word. It just means, like, there aren't enough workers to do all the jobs properly.
Okay, so not enough people.
Right. So the boss agrees Alex needs help. He gets that. But he then adds that the timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right. That's a classic phrase, isn't it?
It really is. It's a way of saying, yes, maybe it's a good idea in theory, but now is not the moment. You might want to sell your house, but maybe the market is bad, so you say, the timing is just not right.
Or maybe wanting to start a big project, but you're too busy with other things.
Exactly. Or having a baby, maybe you feel you're not financially ready. The timing isn't right. So the boss uses this, explaining that the economy isn't great and hiring feels a bit risky.
So notice how the boss avoids a blunt no, uses these phrases instead. Lack of resources, no money, and timing isn't right. Bad moment.
Precisely. It softens the refusal. But Alex doesn't give up there.
No, he has another idea. What is it?
He suggests hiring an intern instead.
An intern. Okay, so what's the thinking there?
Well, an intern is typically someone, often, a student or a recent graduate, who works mainly for experience. Sometimes they get paid a small amount, sometimes nothing at all.
Right, so it's much cheaper for the company.
Exactly. Alex points out it's a way to get help that's more cost-effective. It helps them keep our costs down.
Keep our costs down. That's pretty clear. It means spend less money, control the spending, like companies trying to save paper to keep printing costs down.
Spot on. And Alex also uses a couple of great idioms here. He says an intern could take some of the weight off my shoulders.
I like that one. Take some of the weight off my shoulders. It sounds like it means making things less stressful, right? Removing pressure.
That's exactly it. It's about reducing your burden, your workload, your stress. Imagine you're planning a huge party all by yourself, and a friend offers to handle the invitations. Phew. That takes some weight off your shoulders.
Or just finishing a really tough project at work can feel like a massive weight off your shoulders.
Definitely. And Alex also says the intern could give me a hand with some of these projects.
Give me a hand. Another really common one. It just means help me. Yeah.
Yep. Simple as that. It's friendly, informal. You might ask someone, could you give me a hand with these boxes? It doesn't mean they literally hand you their hand.
No. Or at work, can anyone give me a hand with this sales report? Just asking for assistance.
Exactly. So Alex presents the intern idea as a way to get help, take the pressure off him, and keep costs down for the company.
And how does the boss react to this idea?
The boss says, that sounds reasonable.
Sounds reasonable. Okay, so that's not a definite yes, but it's promising.
It is. It means the idea seems logical, sensible, worth considering. It's a positive signal, much better than the first reaction. The boss agrees to think about it.
Good. So progress. Then later, Alex actually meets the new intern. And there's a bit of a surprise, isn't there?
Yes. The intern's name is also Alex. And the original Alex, who asked for the help, seems, well, surprised.
And the implication, or how we might read that surprise, is that maybe Alex was expecting the intern to be, perhaps, female. Maybe the person they initially thought of, Riley.
It seems possible, yeah. It sort of touches on those unconscious expectations or biases we sometimes have about who does certain jobs. Little moment there.
Yeah, an interesting point. And it also brings up the whole topic of internships again.
Right.
We said they work for experience, often low or no pay.
Right. And, it can be a fantastic opportunity, a way to get your foot in the door, learn valuable skills, see if you even like a particular field. I know someone who got great experience interning.
Me too. Actually, my first proper job started as an internship. They hired me afterwards. So it definitely can lead somewhere.
Absolutely.
But let's be real, it's not always perfect. Some internships, unfortunately, involve maybe not so glamorous tasks.
Like getting coffee, doing endless photocopying.
Hmm.
You hear those stories. Yeah, where the intern maybe isn't treated that well or doesn't learn as much as they'd hoped. So it really varies. It can be a great stepping stone, or less so.
Depends on the company and the role, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, this seems like a good point to maybe pause and really focus on the key vocabulary we've pulled out.
Good idea. Let's go through them. We'll say the word or phrase, explain it simply, and give an example or two. And we'll try to say them clearly and a bit slowly for everyone listening.
Perfect. Let's start with resources.
Okay. Here are resources. This usually means money or sometimes other things needed like time or equipment. Example, the project failed because they didn't have enough resources.
Another example. Our main resource is our skilled staff. Okay, next. Understaffed.
Understaffed, meaning not having enough people to do the job properly. Example, the restaurant service was slow because they were understaffed tonight.
Or being constantly understaffed leads to employee burnout. Good one. Then the timing is just not right.
The timing is just not right. This means it's not a suitable or convenient time to do something. Example, we wanted to buy a car, but with the extra expenses, the timing is just not right.
Another one. She decided not to apply for the promotion because the timing wasn't right with her family situation. Okay, how about weight off my shoulders?
Weight off my shoulders. This idiom means a feeling of relief after dealing with a problem or responsibility. Example, talking about my worries was a huge weight off my shoulders.
Finally, finishing that report was such a weight off my shoulders. Next idiom. Give me a hand.
Give me a hand. This simply means to help someone. Example, could you give me a hand carrying the suitcase?
Or, I need someone to give me a hand in the kitchen. Simple. Sounds reasonable.
Sounds reasonable. This means something seems fair, logical, or acceptable. Example, his explanation for being late sounds reasonable.
And 50 pounds for a ticket. That sounds reasonable. Okay, a few more related words. Overworked.
Overworked. This means working too much or too hard. Example, many nurses feel overworked and underpaid.
Next, short-staffed. Pretty similar to understaffed, right?
Yeah, very similar. Short-staffed, meaning not having the usual or necessary number of staff. Example, we're short-staffed today because 2 people called in sick.
Then cut costs.
Cut costs. This means to reduce spending. Example, the business had to cut costs to survive the recession.
And the opposite of understaffed, overstaffed.
Overstaffed. Having more employees than are needed. Example, after the merger, some departments were found to be overstaffed.
And finally, the action of getting new employees. Hire or recruit.
Hire, recruit. To employ someone. To find new people to work for a company. Example, we need to hire a new manager.
Or the company is recruiting graduates for its training program. Great. That's a lot of useful stuff.
It really is. So just to wrap up this deep dive, we've looked at a pretty realistic conversation about asking for help at work.
Yeah, and pulled out some key English phrases you might hear or want to use yourself. Things like resources, understaffed, that classic, the timing is just not right, and those nice idioms, weight off my shoulders, and give me a hand.
Plus others like, sounds reasonable, cut costs, overworked. By seeing them in context in this little story, hopefully it helps you understand how and when to use them. It's not just about knowing the word, but knowing the situation, you know.
Absolutely. Context is everything. So maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about your own work or life. Have there been times when you could have used these phrases?
Or perhaps times when understanding them better might have helped you navigate a conversation in English. How can knowing these nuances make your communication smoother, more effective?
Something to think about. It's those little pieces, those phrases and idioms that really help build up your confidence and fluency over time.